Reporters must take good notes to write a story, but good note-taking isn't easy. Good note-taking requires being a good multitasker. You need to listen to what the source is saying, interpret what that source is saying, in case the source is using jargon or talking about a subject that you aren't familiar with. Observe your source and your surroundings, evaluate what's important enough to make it into the story, and that's all before you begin to write. You'll need a system for recording and organizing data quickly so that you can refer back to your notes and will be able to interpret and use what you've collected. Your reporter's notebook is where you keep everything organized. You might find a running log of the time. Because you're writing notes as someone is talking, you'll need to learn to write quickly. You might want to skip small words and abbreviate long words in order to save time. But be sure to carefully spell out the important facts. And then go back and review your notes the first chance you get to make sure that you didn't forget anything. Some other tips to maximize your note-taking abilities are to choose a notebook that is a comfortable size for you. Now, most reporters prefer spiral-bound notebooks for their story notes, as they're easy to carry and handy to keep their notes in. Always carry more than one pen, in case the first one runs out of ink. You can also use a mechanical pencil. If practical, consider using different colored ink for different speakers. This will help you clearly differentiate who is speaking, such as at a city council meeting with multiple people talking. You want to mark things that seem important, maybe with an I and a circle around it, so you can come back to them quickly. Draw a line to separate speakers. You don't want to attribute a quote to the wrong person. And always use quotation marks around quotes, so you know that it is exactly what a speaker said. When I started out in journalism as a news reporter for the Eastern Echo student newspaper, I received an 8x4-inch reporter's notebook, similar to this one. Today, the notebook is just one of 3 common ways to take notes: the notebook, digital audio recorder, and typing. Each method has its own pros and cons. First, you have the good old trusty notebook. Now, there's nothing to break, and it doesn't need batteries that might run out. It's easy to access and transcribe, and it also becomes a permanent record for your story. The disadvantages of the notebook are that people can often talk faster than you can write. You want to stand still to write in your notebook, and that restricts your movement. And if you aren't standing still, it will be difficult to read all of your own handwriting. A second option is to have a tape recorder with you for the interview. Now, a tape recorder is more accurate than a notebook, as it provides you with actual proof of what the source said. If it's a good recording, you can also post the entire interview on the paper's website. Congratulations, you are now a multimedia journalist. Disadvantages of the tape recorder are that replaying and transcribing the interview takes a lot of time. The tape recorder can also fail. Maybe the batteries will die and you won't have spares, or maybe you set the recording level all the way down. If you don't save all of the tapes, there isn't a lasting record. Now, there are 2 other disadvantages to using a tape recorder. First, some sources might not feel comfortable being recorded and refuse to talk to you. Second, relying solely on your tape recorder might make your source feel like you aren't really paying attention. I'll relay something that happened to me. I was interviewed for a story about something happening with the radio station I advise. Now, the student journalist came into my office, put a tape recorder in front of me, and took very minimal actual notes. Now, maybe it was my old school journalist sensibility flaring up, but it didn't make me feel very important to the reporter. Now, the story came out fine and I wasn't misquoted, but I couldn't help but feel it was lazy of the reporter to rely so heavily on a recording without any written notes to back him up. The third way a journalist can take notes is to do so electronically on a laptop, tablet, or even on a phone. Now, this is the fastest way to go from notes to a story, as all of your information is already right in front of you. Likewise, it's the most efficient way to get data on a deadline. You can also conduct an interview over the phone or via email, and you can easily just type everything up. Now, as with notebooks, though, people might talk faster than you can type, which can lead to inaccurate quotes. And if you don't back up your files, you might end up accidentally deleting all of your notes. You're also stuck sitting in one place, staring at a computer screen. Now, while it wouldn't be a problem for a telephone interview, you also want to be careful during an in-person interview that you don't alienate your source by spending all of your time looking at the computer and keyboard instead of the person talking. Now, if you can't type very well without looking at the keyboard, this might not be a good option for you. This is especially true if you're taking notes on your phone, as it can easily look like you aren't paying any attention to your source.